Letitia, I hope you're not one of those people who likes to overstay their welcome. Because I definitely feel like at this point, that's your time. Thank you for your services. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Bonnie Scotch. Thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I wanted to bring you a review for Married to Medicine. This is season 11, reunion part 1. You know, I felt like this was just all right. You know what I mean? It wasn't a bad part 1 by any means. You know, we're just getting things percolating here, okay? So before we get into today's review, go ahead and hit the like button for me. When you hit the like button, it is a free way to support my channel and also let YouTube know that I am here and that you all are rocking with my commentary, so YouTube starts to shoot my content out to other viewers. Oh, quick church announcement. I did start a membership on my channel. It is $5 a month. For just $5 a month, this is a cup of coffee every month. You can help support the channel, some overall maintenance, you know, the hair, the makeup, and the fits, everything that you all love to see me come down here and do. You can definitely help me with the maintenance with that by subscribing to my membership. I will have that linked in the description. So we start this episode with all of the ladies backstage. Y'all, why does Sweet Tea say that she wanted to come out last? Do you really want to make an entrance, girl, and call more attention to yourself? Because I feel like you feel like it's your moment and they're all just looking at you like it's giving that. It's not giving that you're that girl who comes with the fashions, so you're like a showstopper or anything like that. It just didn't really give what you thought it was going to give, because compared to everybody else, you look like you are at a completely different event. Now that I'm seeing everybody sitting down, I have some different thoughts. Contessa, girl, this hair is ratty. This hair is a mess. Why can't I see your tracks? Why is your hair greasy? I don't know if like this is like a bad type of like yucky synthetic, and then the person who did your hair went through with some oil sheen and then they tried to brush it and it just wasn't working. And I think it's like the color, that color of synthetic hair gets really knotty and tangled really fast. Girl, we get into this conversation about Fedra not coming to the reunion. They show this never before seen clip. It is a confessional. Producer is asking Fedra, what have you learned about the ladies? She says, they're trash. I think they're demonic menaces of hate. They're these mean, angry black women. They're fat, they're funny looking, they're jealous, and they're hateful. Fedra, not only was that nasty, but you got some big ass nerve. I'll tell you what. Now, if you're a Fedra Parks fan, go ahead and click off now. If you are a fan of Fedra Parks, go ahead and click off now. I hope I don't offend anybody with what I'm about to say. Okay? Whew. I'm not trying to come for anybody. I'm not trying to come for any body types. I'm not fat phobic by any means. I feel like those of you who watch my channel, you know how I get down. There's a lot of shit that I just don't go for. That being said, Fedra, you have the same body that you had on Real Housewives of Atlanta with a BBL on it. Your body type is not that much different from who you think is a fat bitch sitting up on the stage. I'm confused here. Fedra is so delusional. I mean, beyond delusional. She really lacks self-awareness. And I really feel like those types of people are very scary, dangerous people to be around. Let's be real about something here, Fedra. You came into your bad bitch era late in life. You were middle-aged when you came into your bad bitch era. You were post-50 or post-40 when you got your BBL. And now you got these 6'13", platinum blonde, 40-inch bust downs, and you really just think you are that girl. You really think you are that one. And it's like, Fedra, now I'm not saying that she's a bad looking woman by any means. Fedra is not ugly, but it's like, girl, I remember what you used to look like, and you still look like that.
No shade.
It's the same Fedra in a different wig. It's the same Fedra with a BBL. And not only that, you are the most evil. You are the most aggressive as it pertains to black women on reality TV. Period.
Bitch. A nasty, vile gutter snipe. Right up out the hood.
You are the nastiest piece of somebody that I have had the displeasure of coming across in my years of watching reality TV. I do not like you, Fedra. I do not like you or Portia for that stunt that y'all pulled on Candy. After that, I was done with y'all. Everybody else can remain a fan of Fedra. I wasn't never no Fedra fan like that. Everybody else can stay a fan of Portia. I was never really a big Portia fan like that. I didn't mind her in the beginning, but with all her violent antics and then this lie that she told, I was done with her. So the fact that people still go up for these trash ass people is really just lost on me. You sat up there and you perpetuated this nasty ass lie about Candy, and you were never accountable for it. I remember whenever the ladies were calling you out for that shit, you were doubling down. You were like, oh, well, I heard it from somebody else. Portia sitting up there crying. You talking about, oh, well, I guess I'm the villain now. Yes, bitch, you are. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, y'all. I don't even know where I am for real. Girl, I can't even. And then later on, the ladies talking about, oh, at least we didn't do what Fedra did. But y'all bitches brought her on the show. Y'all were okay enough with it to bring her on the show. Not only that, Quad, I'm going to have to tug on your wig real quick. Because I remember whenever Fedra was first coming on this show last year, you were talking about, oh, that's my girl, we're such good friends. And how the fuck you become such good friends with somebody like Fedra Parks? With the likes of Fedra Parks? Girl. Anyway, they played that clip back of Fedra talking shit about them. The only one who really looked pressed about it was Simone. I really don't have any respect for Fedra either in this instance, because I feel like you would never say that shit to these women's faces. I mean, you call them mean bitches and mean girls or whatever like that, but you'll never go in like that in their faces, and I just don't respect you for that. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk all that shit in confessionals, and then when it's time for reunion day, you're a no-show. Girl, fuck you. Fedra is not even good TV like that, and y'all invited her to your platform, and she turned around and gave y'all her ass to kiss, and it's exactly what y'all deserve. Apollo and Shireen are getting divorced. Quad says that the person doesn't change. They just swap the women out. She not lying, though. Then Simone pulls out this fan that has Fedra's face on it, and she starts imitating her, and it just really looked tired and pressed. Now we get into Quad's package. Simone said that she didn't owe Quad an apology for Napa. Then she brings up Quad having a boyfriend without telling them and saying that it's weird and off-putting. Simone, how is it weird and off-putting? You're weird and off-putting. Don't sit up here and try to act like you care about this girl's business. The thing that Simone gives me is that you don't care that she has a boyfriend, because it's like, oh, we're friends and I want to know what's going on in your life. It gives me that you're one of those frenemies, you know, somebody that you used to be friends with, and then they really never liked you, or maybe like they fell out with you at some point, or they whatever the issue is, right? You don't want to know that she has a man because you care about her, you care about her life, you want to catch up with her, you want to know what's going on. You just want to know her business so you can talk some old shit on the side, so you can speculate, so you can have your side commentary. Some bitches don't like you and they just want to know your business. Family be like that too. Oh, how so-and-so doing? How da-da-da. Don't ask nothing about me, bitch, because I don't like you. It got a little bit personal there. My bad, y'all. Clearly, I wasn't still talking about the show, honey, okay? These women are just so damn irritating to me. I'm just so glad that this shit is over.
I am free. Praise the Lord, I'm free. no longer bound, no more chains holding me. My soul is resting. It's just a blessing. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I am free. Yes.
Simone is saying you act like we ganged up on you. You've given us your ass to kiss for years. Number one, y'all did gang up on her. Number two, I don't want to hear shit about Sister Circle again. Sister Circle happened circa 2017. Shut up about Sister Circle at this point. I don't care no more. Quad said, oh, I thought this was a day of accountability, because that's the shit that Simone was talking at the top of the episode. Oh, this is going to be a day of accountability. Simone, when are you ever accountable, Miss Thing? Quad called Fedra a coward. I thought she cooked with that one. Quad is questioning whether or not the apologies are authentic after Toya points out that Jackie just apologized because she didn't want to argue. I don't know how Quad didn't clock that, but I don't know if it's the history or what, but I never took Jackie to be a sincere person when she said that apology, and I felt the same way about Simone. Then we get this listener question. Sweet Tea keeps getting on YouTube and saying that Quad is jealous of her. Sweet Tea says that only one can speculate because there's no reason for us to have issues. So when I see you going on a press tour talking crap about me, listen, Sweet Tea, you definitely talk crap about her too. You talk about all of these women kind of greasy. So I feel like it's even. You know what I'm saying? You're not a victim in the situation. Sweet Tea is leaning over and talking loud towards Quad. So I just feel like she wants to get some shit going. Sweet Tea is saying, Quad, you need us to keep you relevant. Sweet Tea, you actually sound crazy because Quad has been on the show this whole entire time since season 1. She definitely did not need you or Greg. She was going to be on the show regardless, and she was on the show as a single woman for years. So you just sound crazy and stupid. Quad says your man talks to you like shit on a stick. For me, that comment shut the whole production down. When somebody tells you your man talks to you like shit on a stick, what can you say to that? Wait, let me put on some lip gloss real quick.
You don't be respectful. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
Okay. That's much better, right? Okay. And then Sweet Tea says that Quad is a non-motherfucking factor. I said, girl, not this late, tired, delayed read from, I don't know, 2010 that Evelyn Lozada said on Basketball Wives. Like, girl, the way you are so tired and through, it's time to go, Sweet Tea. It's your time. Like, you couldn't even rehearse nothing original. You got all this access to the money.
I get a little access to the money.
You couldn't pay somebody to write a couple of reads for you. You could have called me, girl. I would have had some shit for you. I told you last year in my earlier reviews, you need to be ready for these girls. You need to have something ready for everybody. Have a Rolodex of hate written down in your phone, memorize your reads, and then when it's time to deliver, all you got to do is deliver. Nothing too complicated. Don't put any tongue twisters. Just simple, succinct, and to the point. You could have called any of the YouTube girls and we would have hooked you up, but hey, Heavenly says who's a non-factor, and then Quad opens her mouth big and wide and starts laughing. Then we get a listener question saying, why would Quad be jealous? Her man got her a Rolls Royce and Greg is probably still in that Mini Cooper.
I want to talk to you.
Sweet Tea says, allegedly. Quad says, why are you so concerned about it? Letitia says, you come off very fake. And Quad says, well, you come off very country. Letitia says, and you're giving Beverly Hillbilly. It didn't really land for me because it was coming from Letitia. So yeah, and then we get another open mouth laugh from Quad. Quad says that she is working on her baby. We might have an announcement by the end of the reunion. I don't really love this. I don't know that that is enough time to know that you want to have a child with somebody, but y'all know, whatever, it's y'all life, okay? I feel like women get older, then they meet a man, they get into these relationships, and then they're like, oh, my time is ticking, my clock is ticking, and then they're making decisions all fast, decisions that I don't think that they would necessarily make in their younger years. So that's my concern. But you know what? Good luck to everybody involved, child. It ain't me. Then they're talking about how many times a day Quad has sex. And then Andy says something about King's penis. And I just want to know if Andy realizes that these are his employees. Talking about, oh, I want to know about everybody's sex life. Baby, the way I would be like, hello, hi, HR? Yes, my boss is sexually harassing me on set. I'm very uncomfortable at work, and he's creating a hostile work environment. Can we set up a time to meet? Okay, great. Absolutely. I look forward to your email. Okay, thank you so much. Baby, the way I would be on that phone so fast, I would file that lawsuit so motherfucking fast, Andy's head would be spinning. Talking about you want to know about everybody's sex life. So we learned that Toya moved again. Andy is like, oh, so is this your 4th or 5th house? Toya says, I didn't move into anybody else's home.
That's what I know for sure. That's what's going to be.
Quad starts open mouth laughing again. Obviously, that was a dig at Sweet Tea. Toya and Sweet Tea go back and forth for a little bit. Letitia says, let me speak. Toya says, but you speak like a child. I hate that that's true. I really do hate that that's true, because every time I try to watch Sweet Tea on her YouTube channel, I can barely make it through 5 minutes, y'all. I have been trying to watch and, keep up with the tea and the things that are said and stay current, but she is so hard to watch because I feel like when she talks, she sounds like a teenager. She sounds so childish and juvenile, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go down that road too much more. Tisha says, when I first came here, Toya, you wanted me to go to war with Quad. Toya says, I don't even speak like that. Toya, I'm going to have to stop you right there, because I know that this is true. Now, maybe you didn't literally say that, but you were definitely with the shits. The reality of the situation is, if Sweet Tea, a couple episodes back, said to Toya, I want you to fight for me, Toya would have been with the shits too. You see how she was backsliding in these last couple of episodes, flip-flopping, acting like she already told Quad a couple episodes ago, we're choosing you. And then it was back to, oh, now we need to make a decision because we want to have them around. And it's like, I feel like behind the scenes, Eugene was talking about, oh, we wasn't even really friends with Quad like that. Remember when Eugene said that maybe like an episode or two ago? He was like, oh, we wasn't even friends with Quad for the past few years. So I feel like Eugene said his little bit and it got to Toya, and then she started backsliding. Now, Sweet Tea, while we're on the subject, I'm going to have to pull your card too, because knowing what you said about Toya, you still fully played into it. And here's my thing. I'm a type of woman who's always going to play it cool. Like, I don't have that type of press energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I naturally kind of lean into warm and friendly, and I would make friends with anybody. If I'm in a situation with my new man and his ex is there, I'm not going to try to like necessarily go out of my way to befriend her, but I will keep things friendly. And if I feel like it could go down the road of friendship, I wouldn't mind doing that. And I really felt like it would have been fierce, it would have been sickening if Sweet Tea had a mind of her own and said, you know what? I really want to be cool with this woman. I don't want any beef. I don't want any problems. I don't want no static with her. But here's the issue here. because y'all don't have a mind of your own, and you think that when you get into a marriage, you have to side with everything that your man says. You have to side with his agenda over your own. So I remember last season, when Gregory was talking about how he didn't want Sweet Tea being friends with Quad because it would be awkward for him. Why would it be awkward for you? Because you was pulling her down the steps. Because you were tearing the TV off the wall. It would be awkward for you because you got in the car with her and put your foot on the gas and said that I'll kill us both. That's why it's awkward for you, because you don't want Quad to tell her all of the abuse that she endured at the hands of you. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like why it happened, but I feel like let the cards fall where they may. Mind you, I am just speaking in hypotheticals here, because trust me when I tell you, I would never jump into the DMs of a man who is a known abuser like Sweet Tea did, okay? This is why Sweet Tea is not a victim to me, because you were a fan of the show and you went out of your way to jump into this man's DMs. You moved into that lady's house, you married her ex on the show, and now all of a sudden you're a victim? Girl, kaboom. My bestie said this, but why is Sweet Tea not clocking that her presence here on the show alone is antagonistic as hell? This could have been a whole different show if y'all are getting what I'm putting down. Why does this piece of hair keep sticking up? Hold on. Y'all see that piece right there? It's like it don't want to lay down. Whatever, girl. More on that. Why would Greg be encouraging Sweet Tea not to talk to Quad? He told her, he was like, I don't want you talking to her. Now, why would you encourage this woman not to talk to Quad on a show that Quad has always been the star of? She's always been a full-time member. She's always been an OG. She's coming into a new situation. You don't think that would cause friction naturally if you have this person who's new to the show who is refusing to talk to your ex and she's one of the leads of the show? You don't even make sense. The people don't want to make sense. It's all about hating Quad at the end of the day. It's all about going against her. So listen, you had nefarious and malicious intentions from the jump, Gregory that is, and Letitia went with it, and this is what we got. This is what we were left with. I'm just saying, like, I'm just not the type of girl that would... Girl, why the garbage gotta come and pick up my stuff in the middle of me recording, child? You know why? Because this season was garbage. So it's fitting. Sweet Tea says you try to make it an issue because you don't have... Oh, she's talking to Toya at this time. Sweet Tea is saying, oh, you try to make it an issue because you don't have nothing going on. Tend to your child, Stormy the purse. And the way she delivered it, it was like, girl, you really sound very childish and juvenile once again, because that was the best read you could come up with, girl. And then she said it and she bumped her head like that, and she said it with so much conviction, like, you really thought that you ate that. You thought that you was breaking up the scene with that. And the secondhand embarrassment that I feel for you in this moment is unreal, girl. Toya is saying that you're only mad because I got cool with Quad again. And I 100% believe that. That's what it gives. Quad said you fell for it. You could be Sabrina, Trina, Tammy, and I wouldn't care. Cracked your face again. Oof. Sweet Tea was taking it from every angle. I said, Lord have mercy. You don't need to come back. You don't need to come back. Just, I don't know, keep doing your YouTube vlogs and, you know, cooking on your channel and doing your thing, girl, and make it work for you. Make it work for you, honey. Sweet Tea is saying that she asked her to leave because, oh, what are we talking about? The bachelorette party. So Sweet Tea is saying that she asked Quad to leave because she didn't want to make other people uncomfortable. Just be a real woman. Be a real bitch and stand in your shit and say, I didn't want you at my bachelorette party. It was awkward. It was weird. Why can't you just be a real bitch? And then Toya says, God forbid you take accountability for anything. I agree with Toya on this one, because you could just say, listen, girl, I didn't want you there. And that would have been that, and we would have understood. But you told, oh, I didn't want to make other people uncomfortable. Girl, it's your bachelorette party. What are you talking about? Toya starts going in again. At this point, Simone gets up and she stoops down in front of Letitia as if to say, baby, please don't do this. You don't want these problems. Because I feel like Simone is embarrassed for Sweet Tea. And she's like, we didn't just come here to fight. Let's not make it about that. Like, because I really didn't feel like T was clocking how she was looking and sounding, and Simone just wanted it to stop there because it probably just felt like she, like we're seeing, she's getting clocked from every angle, and she was not prepared, honey. Also, I feel like Simone knows that Letitia gets out of control and she likes to fight, and she starts throwing her weight and her body around, and I don't feel like she wanted it to be that kind of scene. I don't know if y'all clocked this, but Toya was really upset that she even had to sit next to Sweet Tea. Like, she mentioned it, and at some point she was just looking at her like you could tell, like, her whole energy, her aura, it was just, she was so disgusted with her. So next up, we are at Contessa's package. Contessa was a big disappointment for me this season. I was really looking forward to her being back, and then also, what was going on with Contessa's teeth? That really concerned me and shocked me, because I just feel like your average person is like, whatever, but you're a doctor and your teeth were looking like that? Why were the teeth brown on the bottom? Heavenly says to Contessa, I don't know who you are. I don't know when you're telling the truth. And then they bring up this whole situation about Heavenly talking about Scott again. I'm just tired of talking about that shit at this point. I'm not talking about that no more. Contessa says, me and my husband went to therapy. Whatever, girl. I don't even believe you, Contessa, because I think that Contessa likes to play in our face when it comes to Scott, so I don't give a shit about it. Where did Contessa get all of this information about Damon having mixed babies in the streets? Contessa says, you can't be mad at me for what the streets are saying. Andy is saying, who else has heard this? Quad says she's never heard it. Simone said that she definitely heard it. And, some lady came up to her saying that Damon asked for my number, and Toya said that she heard it too. Baby, the way the Damon cheating allegations don't even hit like that for real. Because we know Heavenly is not going nowhere. If you really want to shake the table, you would throw out a rumor about you hearing Heavenly running the streets or something like that, even if it's not true, even if, just to cause a little bit of chaos and confusion, because everybody lies on these shows, right? So you really want to get some shit going, you throw that out about Heavenly, because remember, Damon said he didn't know if he could stay with Heavenly if she cheated on him. But that was the episode, y'all. Get down in the comments with me. Let me know how you felt about this one. Let me know how you felt about the season overall. What changes are we looking forward to making? I really feel like Simone, Jackie, and Contessa can go, and then everybody else can stay. Mimi, I don't really know. I don't mind her. I feel like I like her husband more than I like her. But she can go. Sweet Tea can go. So yeah. Hit the like button for me on the way out. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know what I'm posting. And I'll see y'all for the next one. Peace.
Come on. It's me, Al Grande. Or call me Papi Chulito. Yo tengo mucho loving for you mommies if you legal. For honeys, nothing equal to the way I tap that spot. Get your cat hot. Guess what? You hit the jackpot. Candlelight dinners for you winners. See, I'm like Don Juan. Beat me, sweetie. I get in ya. Sugar, I'ma put you in a beautiful